Hello and welcome back to the NastyMetalProductions channel here on YouTube, and welcome to another Wednesday review. Today I will be reviewing the only release, or at least right now, the only release from this artist, that is Banglord from Pornohelmüt, which this was released all the way back in February 14th of 2020. So, this is, again, it's actually founded by at least one guy based out of, I believe, camera's now blocking, Texas, I guess. Just Texas. Says just Texas. But it's by a guy named Neil Barret. So he's the mastermind behind this project right here, and I'll definitely get to at least a quote from him, which I think will also be a good way of also kind of summoning up the release. Or at least the whole entire, at least the idea and the whole sound of this album right here. But it's very interesting. That's all I gotta say. But again, it's right now the only release, and it was again, it was released through labels such as Show Tell and Atykeep, again on February 14th of 2020. So I guess without further ado, let's definitely get into Banglord from Pornohelmüt. Alright, so before I really get into any of my, or at least I'll try and summon up some thoughts on this release. But for what we got here, again, this is always something I do for every one of these reviews now, is do a track listing rundown. So we got at least 7 songs here, and it at least clocks in a little over 19 minutes. So these 7 songs are Astroglide, Bell Ringer, Mother Duster, Night Rider, Ultra Mega, Wizard Sleeve, and Black Magic Dope Sack. So I thought it was a Dope Stick. No, it's Dope Sack. So there it is. There's your 7 songs here, and most of the songs are relatively short. The longest song I guess you can say on here would be Mother Duster, since it clocks in at 3 minutes and 49 seconds, where most of these at least barely make the 4 minute. They barely ever make the 4 minutes. Some of them are like 2 minutes or so. That's why, hence why it's around 19 minutes. So, what is Banglord, and who the hell is Pornohelmüt? Well, to kind of, again, it's all was created by one guy named Neil Barret. So, but the thing is, I'm going to read you at least a quote from Neil Barret, which he gives a good description of this entire release. And again, this quote will be taken from the site Earsplit Public Relations, which again does a little article or so on this release. But I'm just only going to read you Neil Barret's quote, at least his whole his summoning, his whole, again, basis or everything just behind this release. Because again, he's got some words here. He's got some, at least some stuff here that I think will give you guys the best idea on what this release is, on what the genres is for this. I mean, it's experimental, it's different, it's unique in places, and it definitely is one of those that's definitely made for an open mind. But I think he summons up this release great in this quote, so let me quote this for you. Alright, so this is what Neil Barret says, or at least here offers. So, over a year ago, I sat down to try and create some demo tracks to book a few shows in Europe. This thing quickly fought to become an all-consuming monster of a first record. And I let it. I allowed it to be whatever it was going to be and go wherever it wanted. It turned a bit feral. It grew a lot of crooked limbs, some pretty sharp teeth. It's a little scattered and unfocused. It crosses a lot of conventional, or at least I guess he says conventional boundaries, defies simple genre categorization, and generally seeks to perplex and entice or otherwise offend the listener. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you hate it. I hope it makes you feel something. So that's pretty much what he summons up on this whole release. And the genres that, again, that Pornohelmüt at least gets listed as would be, again, experimental, audiovisual, which I've never heard of audiovisual begin with. And I tried my best to look up at least music, but it seems to really relate to at least very I guess more so stage theatrics and really what seems to be what I would recall at least music, or at least sounds or so on. So I tried my best to look up what audiovisual is so I can give you some quotes on what it is, so I can give you a good idea on what you might expect with this release here. But I tried my best, but I couldn't. But again, it gets labeled as audiovisual, industrial, metal, noise, seizure. So this is all taken from Bandcamp's page, and and a lot of those I think really applies. All these genres are basically what you get with this release, and what Neil Barret pretty much described. Again, it fits for this. This is so different. It's unique. I'll put this on the same in the same category as like Kelly Bose's Zothgorven. So again, it kind of falls in that same category and so on. It's just so different. It's unique, and me trying to go into at least to sum it up track by track, I don't think would do this much justice, trying to give you an idea of what each song sounds like, because I think the best way for any of you to get a really good idea on how this album is, instead of just me telling you, you probably should go and listen to it, because it's just so different. If you got an open mind, just like I do, again, I think you probably should give this a listen. It is so different. Again, it's in the same category as Kelly Bose's Zothgorven. It's just, it's electronic in places, but it just has so many, it just has an atmosphere of its own. It's not metal, but it's definitely very interesting, and I think if you got an open mind, I think it's probably worth your time. So that's the best thing I can do for this review here. This is the best I can tell you about what it is. So without further ado, I guess we'll just go right back to my face. So there you go. There is at least my, I guess you could say, a half-assed attempt at trying to review this album here, or at least EP or so. It's relatively short. This is where you probably would expect me to give out a rating. I'm not going to give this a rating, because again, I don't know if giving a rating would do this justice. It's a very unique listen, and I think again giving a rating would kind of in some way strip away any sort of uniqueness or anything coolness, at least from this release. So I'm not going to give it a rating again. I hope that is. And so again, if you are interested in checking this release out, I'm going to leave you a link to, of course, Pornohelmüt's Bandcamp page, where you can listen to this. And if this is something you're really pretty much interested in buying, again, you can buy the cassette on the Bandcamp page. And again, it costs about $10. Of course, the digital costs about $7. So if you really want at least, if you really like what you hear, again, go on and support this artist. Again, this was given to me straight from Paul of Doomsday Today Records. That's why I am wearing one of his shirts here anyways. So again, thank you for sending this out my way. This was a really cool release. This is very interesting, and I hope some of you at least would appreciate this release. So with that, I hope all of you enjoyed. Again, thank you. This is for Thrash. I say I'm out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.